All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Terror on the subway. At least that's what the media is calling this story. Not sure if you're hip to it, but allegedly a man and police are looking for a black man entered the New York subway system, discharged a smoke grenade or some type of device that would, if you can see right there in the small boxes, that would produce like a smoke type of substance, and then open fire on people like some ish straight out of a movie. The attack left 29 people shot or otherwise injured. People are saying that a lone gunman in a reflective vest and a gas mask threw smoke bombs onto the subway car in Brooklyn and then began shooting at the height of morning rush. Now there's a manhunt on for Frank R. James, 62 years old. And it's like it's straight out of a movie. And in particular, it reminds me like some shit from the latest Batman movie. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's sort of like a vigilante sort of vibe to it, where the Riddler inspires other, would be, for lack of a better word, terrorists to go out and commit violence. Is this an example of life imitating art? We don't know. I'm just speculating here, but this will be big news for the next 24 hours as police are searching for this brother. I don't know if he did it. Hope he didn't. Somebody did it. But there's a reason why the police are looking for him, and I want to get your thoughts about it, man. It's the world we live in. Now, something like this is only going to fuel what people call constitutional carry, where, every person got their weapon and you got to do what you got to do. And I get it. I'm right there with you on the Second Amendment. But stories like this is only going to fuel people's anxiety. It's all about fear. It's all about fear. I guarantee you that the pro Second Amendment people, the people that's all about that constitutional carry, the people that's all about stopping any kind of laws that would prevent you from having a weapon, they're going to seize upon this. See, I told you. And see, something like this is going to be felt all over the country. It doesn't matter whether you're in New York or not. This is going to terrorize and inspire a lot of fear in people all through the country. So get ready for that. So don't nobody want to hear nothing about no gun rights or, gun prevention laws. When people are afraid, when human beings are afraid, they'll do anything. That's how we got to the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, because people were afraid after 9/11, which by all accounts still to me is fishy as hell. I don't believe the official story, but we'll go with that because that's the popular delusion. We'll go with that. Have your delusion. But when people are afraid, when human beings are afraid, they'll do anything. They become very pliable. They'll do anything. They become very pliable to the puppet masters. They'll go with anything. It make me feel safe. I'm going to do it. That fear-mongering, man, is huge. I guarantee you'll see politicians using this to fear-monger. Maybe on both sides. Now, the laws in New York may not be like the laws in Ohio or whatever state you reside in, but again, this will be a story that people will be talking about throughout the rest of the day. So I'm going to get your thoughts about it. 513-873-7134. When I was watching the latest Batman movie, which is, I understand, is going to be released on HBO Max on the 18th. For folks who have HBO Max, you might want to check it out. As I was watching it, I was thinking, we live in crazy times. I could see people watching this movie and being inspired to do the same dumbass shit as the character known as the Riddler. I can see that. Everybody's different. Like you and I, we're reasonably well adjusted. We'll watch something like this, watch it, we done with it. Somebody else might watch it and now it becomes like their creed. The movie's talking to me and all this, it's the world we live in. It's the world we live in. Good morning to you. Terror on the subway. And the media just loves these headlines. They love them. Terror, oh my gosh. If it bleeds, it leads. Now, apparently, the police are piecing this together. They found a U-Haul in Philadelphia, and the keys to the van were found in the shooter's possessions left behind at the subway station. The U-Haul was rented out by James R. Frank. Or, I'm sorry, Frank R. James. James R. Frank. Frank R. James. That's one of the reasons why he is a person of interest in this case. So law enforcement all over the state of New York, the city of New York, and all over the region, all over the country are going to be on high alert. And apparently he had a little cachet. They also recovered a 9mm Glock, 3 extended magazines, a hatchet, gasoline, 4 smoke grenades, and a bag of consumer-grade fireworks. They say the gun was not stolen. So we got to be concerned with people that get guns legally, and then they want to do something illegal with them. But dude was ready for like fighting werewolves and zombies and vampires. He got a hat. Only thing he was missing was a steak, some holy water, but you can't do holy water anymore because holy people don't exist anymore. Holy people are extinct. That is a dead breed, just like Latin is a dead language. That's a dead breed. There are no more holy people. We can debate that if you like. 4 smoke grenades. I mean, hey, it's the world we live in. You can get your hands on this stuff pretty easy. Everything that we just talked about, you can go get. And so you'll have some people who are like, this is another example of why we need to crack down and have a better idea of who's got guns. Then you have some people say, well, this is a great example of why we need to allow people to have guns, unfettered access to guns, because, well, I don't know about you. Let's keep it real, though. You on the subway or some other confined space, because that's a very confined space. I can see that being claustrophobic if some ish jumps off. You can't get out. You're underground. You're in this confined space. If you're in a space like that and somebody whips out a weapon, what you want to do? In a situation like that, what offers you more protection, God or guns? God or guns? Now, some of y'all gonna play games with yourself and say, God is all powerful, which, if you believe in God, yes, God is. But in that situation, you want to G you in, don't you? Quit lying. Quit lying. You know you do. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. This is where we live in. Kelly writes, good morning. It's sad. It's very, very sad. Can't go nowhere. Can't even get on the damn subway and go to work. Now, at this point, this black man, um, Frank R. James, is only a suspect. Like there's no evidence that ties him. He's not pled guilty. He hasn't been found guilty. He's just a suspect. That's it. But in our society, if you're a suspect, then that's damn near like 1 degree away from you being guilty. Might as well be guilty. I saw the video of the passengers on the subway. They was running out, boy. They was spilling out with smoke billowing out of the subway car. It was crazy, yo. I ain't never been in a situation like that. I don't want to. Kelly writes, good morning. Cass writes, good morning. Janice writes, good morning. Darlene writes, grand risings. Anthony writes, like and share. Lemmy writes, good morning. Brandy writes, greetings. Daryl writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Jerome's in the house. I said, Jerome's in the house. Writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Nikki writes, good morning, everyone. Tiffany is on YouTube. She writes, good day, all. Good morning, everybody. Mika writes, good morning. Maurice is in the house. This is nothing new in New York. Damn. Nat writes, good hump day, Nate and the Choppers. That's right. That's right. It is a hump day. We almost to the weekend. The weekend starts tomorrow on Thursdays. Everybody knows that. The weekend starts on Thursdays. Coming up this weekend, another Sunday morning masterclass will be provided by our friends over at Renew Community Church. You can tap in on Facebook at facebook.com/Cincy Renew. You can also tap in and subscribe on YouTube. We got a YouTube channel, Renew Community Church live stream. Sunday's masterclass topic will be countdown. You are just 60 seconds away from your resurrection. It's your time to win. It's your time to win. This is your year. We just getting started. Again, you could tap in and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. You can also go to their website, 3Ws.renewcommunitychurch.org. You can download a free ebook and or sign up for personal or business coaching. Check it out. Good morning to you. Roos Wright, have you seen the story about the Black Lives Matter folks misappropriating funds? I have seen that story. Apparently, they purchased a $6 million house, and people are. I think two ways about that story. On one hand, I feel like it's just a way to discredit Black Lives Matter, and Black people are playing into it. Oh, what they do with the money. Some of the same folks who do that won't say shit about what's the brother's name who's building a school. He don't even talk about the school no more. I can't remember. He was here maybe a year or two ago. I could see his face. King Kong Consciousness. You know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I feel like when Black organization, you ever heard of Jordan rules, Roots? Of course you have the Jordan rules. Well, you also got the Black organization rules. Okay. So it appears to be a game plan to discredit and destroy Black-led and Black-focused organizations, especially when they focus on Black liberation. There's a game plan that's been put in place for decades and decades to destroy it. Now, some of that is infiltration, and some of that is to discredit it from the outside in. And when it comes to Black Lives Matter, man, I've sat back and watched all of the tools be deployed to try to discredit them. You know what I'm saying? I've never worked directly with Black Lives Matter, and I know they might be open to a lot of critiques, but I don't know the details about the $6 million home. From what I read, apparently, people saying it was secret. They're saying it wasn't a secret. We just didn't have any reason to announce it, and that they purchased a property so it could be a HQ of sorts, a headquarters of sorts. Now, if that's what they did, that's what they did. I don't know. But what I would say is this. What I would say, Roots Tafari, is this is the way I do my thing is, if people are that concerned about Black Lives Matter, then get busy helping the improvement of Black lives. I don't really care about what Black Lives Matter is or is not. That's irrelevant to me. The only thing that matters is what I'm going to do. That's the only thing. I hear all these people talking about Black Lives Matter, but what the fuck is you doing is the real question. Are you out in these streets? Are you out here at these chambers where policy is being made? Are you doing this in your city and state? Because if you're not, who cares about whether they spend $6 million or not? That's irrelevant to me. I don't care. That's my thoughts about it. People love to point fingers except at themselves. So if they took the $6 million and bought them a swanky little house, good for them. It don't impact the movement. It don't impact me whatsoever. It just seems like another way of discrediting what they're doing. And I'm not here to say that they're not open for critiques. I'm not here to tell you that there ain't something funny that happened with the money. What I'm saying is, no matter what they did, it don't really matter in Cincinnati, Ohio. It don't really matter wherever you live. The only thing that matters is what you're going to do. That's what I would say. And I'm not talking about you, Roots Tafari. I'm talking about the general you, because I hear a lot of people talking about this story and things like that. And then I did get a chance to see Roland, and basically what he was saying is he got this whole thing now where he's deconstructing stuff, which I think is cool. And he was deconstructing this, and he was talking about his own personal experiences. And, not everybody, the other thing you got to understand is that, it's like with Michael Jordan, right? People thought that because Michael Jordan was a great basketball player, that when he moved to baseball, he was going to be the greatest baseball player ever, because baseball is less athletic than basketball. And what we found out is that ain't true. Just because you're good at one thing don't mean you're good at another thing. And so what I would say is there might be people out there that might be good at being an activist, They might be good on that street level or organizing, but does that mean that they're good at managing money, large sums of it? Not necessarily. It don't mean that. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like Roots. It seems like a lot of people are trying to like, and again, you got to understand that the powers that be are heavily invested in trying to destroy any organizations that would appear to or have a mission statement to, help black folks. It's been that way. It's going to continue to be that way. COINTELPRO is still alive today. One of the many lies that's been told to us is that COINTELPRO ended. That's the surveillance of black organizations and black leaders. It didn't end. That shit continued. It encompassed also people who were anti-war protesters. Anybody that was against the status quo, they was watching your ass. They're watching you now. Anybody that's doing that work, they watching everything you do. COINTELPRO is still real. And I just feel like sometimes when I hear these critiques of these organizations, I feel like, okay, that's part of the plot. So that's how I feel about the Black Lives Matter mansion. I mean, come on, get you a mansion, and I don't care. I don't. I know Black Lives Matter apologized. They've been defending it, going back and forth. Y'all talking about a house in California, but that ain't right. Got shit to do with the work of the people. But I get it though. I get it. I didn't contribute any money to Black Lives Matter, so I ain't upset about it. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot of speculation about what they did and what that property was. And I mean, hell, property is a good investment. It's a good investment. They're gonna get a good return on their $6 million. Okay. Now, what will come from that? I don't know. I think we would all agree that Black Lives Matter and the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, that they got to have some kind of headquarters. Everything can't be virtual, I would think. So I don't know. I know the group that they took in a lot of money after the death of George Floyd back in 2020. And there's been a lot of scrutiny about how the funds are being used. But, to be honest with you, we should be looking, man, we talking about Black Lives Matter. To be honest with you, living in Cincinnati, what we need to be doing is taking a magnifying glass and looking at some of these local nonprofits and how they spend their money. Fuck Black Lives Matter in California. We got nonprofits getting money from taxpayers in Cincinnati right now. But are they effective? Are they effective to the people? So that's how I look at it, Roots. I don't care. I don't know what they did with the money. I'm going to assume, as I do with most people, I'm going to assume the best thing. I'm going to assume the right thing. What's the brother's name with the school again? God damn, I can see his name I can see his face in my head. I just can't call his name. Sometimes it be like that. Umar, Dr. Umar. Yeah. I wish him the best. Everybody criticize him. What have I said? I don't know. I wish the best. I'm going to assume the best. Because people like to hate on, especially black folks, is trying to do stuff with black folks. They love to hate on you. So Black Lives Matter. What about these local nonprofits that's getting money? Here we are talking about the budget. Are some of these nonprofits worthy of getting our money again? How they spending our money? You know what I'm saying? We need to take a fine-tooth comb and go to some of these organizations and see how they spending our money. We don't want to do that. But we want to talk about Black Lives Matter spent $6 million in California. Okay. I guarantee if we just pull back and looked at how some of these nonprofits, and if you look at who they're serving, a lot of folks they serving is, us. And we ask ourselves, are these purchases justified? We probably come up with some real questionable things. But we want to talk about Black Lives Matter. Okay. We can do that. We can do that, but I don't think there's a lot of functionality in it. And we like to assume the worst with black folks. We love to assume the worst. It's just another way to keep us down, quite honestly. And then black folks will get involved with this shit. I mean, people be hating on Dr. Umar. I maintain the same thing. I don't know. I hope the best. Hope the best. I hope he's successful. But I don't know. And I'm not going to assume the absolute negative just because he's a brother. I ain't going to do that. Meanwhile, you got some of these organizations in Cincinnati. If you look at their leadership, it looks like it looks like the Swiss Alps. The higher you go up, the whiter it gets. What they doing with the money? How they spending the money? Our money. I mean, what's the process that's put in place locally to make sure on an annual basis that these nonprofits are actually delivering and not just glamming you with some provocative promos? Are they really effective? That's what I think we should be doing. We had this conversation a few years back, and we need to bring that back up again. Because right now the budget's going to be hot and heavy and all this kind of shit. That's the real question. Fuck Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? That's low hanging fruit. That's easy peasy. You know what I'm saying? You start digging into what your local, these big time, so there's big money, man. You got some of these CEOs that's making big money. Are they effective? Are they really delivering? That's what I would say. Let me see, Dr. Umar, right? That was Dr. Umar. Thank you so much. My brain was just, I don't know. It happens. Roots writes, he thought he was Blade. All right. I said, that's funny because the Blade trilogy, and oh, by the way, for people who love Marvel, don't forget, the first Marvel movies was Blade, starring Wesley Snipes. Classic sci-fi Marvel. Classic. The first one is absolute classic. You're going to love it. And the black man's the hero. I love any movie where the black man's the hero. Period. And it was well done. Umar. Wesley did his thing. But it's on Netflix right now. You can watch the whole trilogy. I was telling my daughter about it. She was like, Blade? I'm like, see, they selling you fucking Spider-Man and Iron Man and Captain America. But what about Blade? Anyway, it's a side issue. He thought he was Blade. I don't know. Maybe he was killing vampires on that train. Brian writes, morning. I'm loving this NBA play-in, Brian. Oh my God. My dude, LaMelo Ball. Me and my son love LaMelo Ball. Oh man, it's the best thing ever. He plays tonight. So, I don't really get, unless it's a local team or somebody that's local, because I'm a homer. My heart is always for the home team. And I feel like since we don't have an NBA team here, I mean, I rock with the Cavs. I watched the Cavs last night. I was rooting for the Cavs. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets. I think now they'll play the loser of the Cavs and Hawks tonight. So I'll definitely be watching that because I want to see LaMelo. I want to see LaMelo do his thing. Shout out to his pops, man. Big Papa, Big Baller Brand. I love all of that shit. Every last piece, every bit of it. And I want to see his third son get into the league too. Jello, I think his name is. That'd be dope. So I'm all about that, Brian, man. I know you loving this NBA thing. It's going to be great. I saw Russell Westbrook, man, he got to go. His mental ain't right. Mentally, he ain't right. Physically, he got the skills. Mentally, he ain't right at all. This man in a press conference, number one, threw the coach under the bus. Talking about, I don't know why he don't like me. I sent him a bottle of champagne. B, I don't care about your goddamn champagne. We trying to win championships. You ain't going to win me over with no damn champagne. Go do your job. And then talking about, yeah, well, to me, it was a bad season because I didn't average a triple-double. Huh? Negro, you missed the playoffs. So you telling me if you had missed the playoffs and got a triple-double, you would be happy with the season? His mental ain't right. His mental ain't right. They ain't gonna never get none with his mental right. The mental has to be right. Roy Rice, I would just want to get out of that place but let's don't have eyes once everyone starts shooting. Good morning, Sister Irish. She's in the house today. Good to see you. Lemmy's in the house. Good morning. Roy's in the house. Roy writes, I think I read that already. Jenny writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Happy Wednesday. Morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, John. Good morning, Iona. Anthony writes, I'll G with the latter ideal. New York has highly restricted gun laws. If one or two people in that subway had guns, maybe they could have stopped him. Question for me is, did he have a mental history record that was overlooked? Could have been. Could have been. Hey, what's up, Jesse? Thank you so much for that, Jesse. Anthony, Maurice, Kamikia, appreciate you. Drops in the house. What's up, Drop? Good morning, Choppers. What do you have to lose? It's the economy, stupid. 8.5 inflation. What do you have to lose? I don't know what you're saying. Deshaun writes, the Black Lives Matter movement is separate from the organizations. You can support the movement without supporting organizations that may be stealing money. Yeah, but maybe so. But like I told you, man, if we're going to start looking at organizations that's supposed to be working for us and question what they're doing with the money, we just start with some of these local nonprofits. That's where you start. You ask your council members, and really the council members should be asking these nonprofit organizations, why do you deserve more of our taxpayer money? Prove to us that you're actually having an impact in our community. Prove it. Who are you helping? Bring in the numbers. We want to see it. Brandy writes, good morning. Dale writes, Black Lives Matter did not buy a $6 million house. See, it's so much back and forth about all of this. I mean, apparently it was a creator's house that was supposed to be a space for Black folks to share their gifts to the world and to hone their crafts. I get it. A lot of people are doing that these days. I get it. If that's what they was doing and they're based in California, then and you got the bread, then go ahead and get a $6 million house. I don't know. Like I said, real estate's a great investment. And they love to talk about Patrice Kahn Colors and the fact that she's a self-proclaimed Marxist. Most people don't even know what the fuck that means. Excuse my language. Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery. Most people don't even know what the hell that means. Communist, socialism. People don't even know what the hell that means. So I don't know. I don't know. Apparently, it's a $10,000 square foot house in Toronto. They got there's another one that's in Toronto. There's one in Cali. I don't know these things. But when Black folks get a little bit of money, it becomes a big story. What they're doing with the money? What you doing with your money is the real question. That's the real question. Lisa writes, and most of the mofos complaining don't even donate to Black Lives Matter, LOL. Right. So I didn't donate to Black Lives Matter. So I don't really feel like, now sure, they're doing it in the names of Black people. I'm a Black man, so I get it. But I didn't donate to them, so I don't feel upset about it. Had I donated to them, would I be upset about it? I don't know. I don't think so. Maurice writes, they are crooks. The dude that was with them ratted them out. Again, maybe so. Adele writes, Patrice Colors provided a detailed explanation, and I believe I saw that post. And okay, maybe so. You know what I'm saying? Maybe so. Meanwhile, you might be, you might be getting. All I'm trying to say is that, I mean, just think about the city of Cincinnati. Just think about this. So, like right now, the president of the Reds is in the hot seat because he went on. I think he was on 700 or 55 KRC, or as we say in the radio Cincinnati community, down the dial. So the president of the Reds went down the dial and he got held accountable for having a team that loses a lot. I believe it was two of their hosts. I don't remember their names. And so they had him on because opening day was just yesterday in Cincinnati. And they asked him, why should people support the Reds? Because you guys have only had a handful of winning seasons since you took over back in 2005, 2006. And what did he say? This is the president of the Reds. The Reds are worth about $1.8 billion. Big time. You know what this man said? He basically said, so what you going to do about it? Where are you going to go? You want us to sell the team? To who? Like on some elitism type stuff, like, hey, we built a trap and you're in it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Then he came back within the last 24 hours and apologized for his appearance because everybody's been talking about it. Like, oh, and I'm thinking to myself, where you going to go? You don't have to go to a game. You don't have to support the Reds. Everybody act like just because the Reds are local or the Bengals are local, you ain't got to fucking support them. Like I told you before in his comment, and I've been saying this for over 10 years, the Reds F tradition. Stop giving a team a parade that don't even make the playoffs. I've been saying it for years. Nobody picks up on it. Maybe a handful of people. And then the president comes out and basically says, so what you going to do about it? Underlining my point. Cincinnati, y'all run down there every year. There's some big things, opening day and for a team that don't even make the playoffs with ownership that don't even value you. My point being is the Reds is worth 1.8. I don't even know how much the Bengals are worth, but it had to go up a little bit. They had to get a little bump. Let's say over $1 billion. You got all these Fortune 500 companies, all these big-time nonprofits, but yet we still got these underserved people. I don't get it. Or maybe I do get it. Should Black Lives Matter murals across America be removed? I mean, at this point, no. Why would we remove the murals? Let them stay. They're there now. And like I said, I stand by what I said about the Black Lives Matter mural in Cincinnati. I feel the same way, but they built it. It's there now. So we might as well make the best out of it. Turn it into something positive. Why would you remove Black Lives Matter murals? F that. If we're going to remove anything, we need to remove those slave owners off of Mount Rushmore. That's what we need to do. So let the murals stay and the slave owners go. That's what I say. Maurice writes, Umar Johnson is a clown to me. Not all brown-skinned people are from Africa. That's true. I'm not going to call Dr. Umar Johnson a clown because I respect his intellect. I will admit to you, though, that I've seen some things over the years that have left me with question marks. I'll put it that way. But I hope the brother's successful in what he's trying to do. That's it. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your number one fan, your West Side Connection, Josh Squad 52. What up, sir?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm enjoying your show so far, the monologue and talking about Black Lives Matter. And again, Mr. Ivey, I hate to admit it. No, I don't hate to admit it. I'm going to admit it. I told you about this group way back when I first came on your show. And I classified them as race hustlers. And this is what race hustlers do. They've been exposed. The Black Lives Matter organization led by Patrice Cullors out here from California. And she has betrayed the entire Black Lives movement that was locally across the country before 2013 and Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. So I hope that the California regulatory organization out here is investigating the group and their money. So I hope that they're held accountable. And Mr. Ivey, if you need to see the house that they bought in California, I don't know about the other homes they have. I think it's a total of 3. Mr. Ivey, this is going to get deep because I'm telling you, Nate, if the Republicans or when the Republicans take control of the House, this is the type of shit that they're going to start investigating because they were full of lies during the 2020 protests across America when them young people of all colors and races hit them streets. And Black Lives Matter took all that money from them guilty white folks. You know, Democrats have all the good white folks. They took that money from them guilty white folks across the country because they listened to these race hustlers and they slick and greasy, shout out to Fane Rothstein, they're slick and greasy rhetoric doing that crap that I can't stand. And you're right, Nate, a lot of these organizations need to be investigated. And thank you for bringing it up. So shout out to all the organizations who are doing the right thing. And it's a shame and it's disgraceful that these women who started this organization, and yes, they're Marxists, and yes, Nate, people do have Google, they do know what the F a Marxist is. They will be exposed sooner or later. I'm not wishing that they go to jail. I just hope they make them pay back every single penny of that money that they took under false pretenses as they hustle off of Black pain and suffering in this country. That's all I got, sir. Well, in California, they're being investigated. It's not the district attorney that's doing the investigation. I'm not exactly 100% on the name of the California regulatory group that's investigating their money, but they are under investigation, and that's why these stories came out. But if you remember, Nate, last year I did a yes, sir.
Sorry about that. Now, would you agree with me on this, that Black-led organizations or organizations that are committed to Black liberation have historically always been under investigation? Will you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is par for the course. Just saying, you saying
yes,
under
it is.
investigation, that don't really mean anything to me, because as you just admitted, those kind of organizations have always been under the focus because of what they're trying to do. But so what?
Well,
Let's
Mr.
say they
Ivey,
bought a $6 million house, and
they bought
it was
three, Nate. They
okay.
bought 3 homes.
Okay, but we talk about the one
Not
in
just
California,
one.
though. Let's talk about the one in California.
Yeah.
Let's say it is
Okay.
what they say.
All
They
right.
bought this house, $6 million. It's a creator house. What's wrong with that?
Okay, two things. And again, trust but verify. The story out here is that the home was originally purchased by someone for $3 million, and then they flipped it and sold it to Patrice Cullors and her organization for $5 million, 5.3 or something. So now people are wondering if there's some type of money laundering going on, because they pay the Black Patrice Cullors and the Black Lives Matter group, they pay cash. So again, that's why I said, Nate, they're being investigated out here in California. So I'm pretty sure that the home in Toronto and wherever the other one is, they're also looking into those finances as well. So, and the reason that the organizations in the past, like Black Lives Matter, have been investigated and infiltrated is because they're for a good cause, the pain and suffering of Black people. And the white people in America across the country, not all of them guilty, but they feel for the pain and suffering, and they send money to these groups based on what they say they're going to do with the money to help solve the problem that they're talking about. So when that money starts coming to these groups, this is what happens, Nate. I don't care. When people get money, they don't know how to act. And we talking, they received $90 million, Nate. That's a lot of money in just in 2 years. Hell, I don't donate to any. I don't donate my money to no political organization because I pay too many goddamn taxes.
Outside of Republican Party, though, right? You do financially support Republican candidates, though, right?
Shall I repeat it? Because it sounds like your hearing is going as well as your memory. Because again, I said I do not donate to any political organization or group.
Okay.
I donated when I worked for the Postal Service. We used to always have our the fundraising thing, and I would give to Boys and Girls Clubs and groups like that. But other than that, no, I would never donate to a political organization.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is it looks bad.
Again, Nate, like I said, the group is already broken up.
I'm just saying.
Again,
I'm just saying
they're gonna find out.
The evidence all of the evidence that you've shared with me so far this morning seems to culminate to it looks bad. Is that correct?
But again, Nate, last year I did a podcast about Black Lives Matter. It was looking bad back then when the local Black Lives groups were asking the national group who got that 90 million, where's our cut? You're not, quote unquote, trickling down the money. So this has always been an issue, but it was within the Black Lives local chapters. And now this is getting close to the Fed, because if it was a Republican in office, they would be under investigation right now. I guarantee you.
No, we already know.
They made
COINTELPRO.
Yeah. And, well, of course. And I'm telling you, Nate, after the bloodbath in November, it's going to be a lot of things that are going to change when the Republicans are in the majority in the House.
Oh, you mean when Republicans take over the House and the Senate? Oh, that'll be fun. Because they always have Black people. They always have Black liberation and Black people's issues in America at the top of their list, don't they?
Mr. Ivey, I'm just pointing out the fact. Don't hate the messenger.
And I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies.
I am just a black man that votes Republican. That's it. That's all I am.
And I'm just a black man who can't turn his brain off. And I can see things and look at things
Well,
logically. I can't turn my brain off for you, bro. So it sounds to me like
turn on.
It sounds to me like Black Lives Matter. And again, maybe they did something wrong, but it's just funny how the people who don't even donate.
It ain't no maybe.
The people who don't even donate to them are the ones that's the most hurt by it. You ain't even gave them no money. You ain't gave nobody no money.
That's not the point, bro.
That is the point. The point is not what they did or didn't. It's what you're going to do. That's what the point is.
Mr. Ivey, if a bank get robbed, right, and they don't take money out of my account, they still rob the bank, Nate.
Okay, what's the correlation? How's that correlate?
What you mean the correlation? You talking about just because I didn't give anything to the organization that I'm not supposed to hold them accountable?
Right. I'm saying you ain't gave them no money, and you ain't gave no other black organizations no money. So it just seems to me like you don't really care about it. It's just something to talk about because it fits your political worldview. That's what it sounds like.
Well, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. But I'm telling you, that's not my intention.
Well, actions.
My intention is to read the news.
It's the
my intention, really Nate, my intention is to read the news, be informed, and have an opinion that I can express from time to time on the Nathan Ivey Show.
I'm glad you do.
I am so.
But you know
I'm so glad you give me an opportunity,
you already
Nate.
know that.
What? You my what?
I said you already know your big brother's gonna hold you accountable. You know that.
I don't have any brothers.
I'm your brother, your big brother from another mother.
Oh,
man.
you talking about my radio big brother.
I'm your radio big brother from another mother.
Exactly. Okay. All right. I got you, big bro.
Yeah, I can't have you out here sounding crazy.
Hey, Nate, again, man. I was surprised that you couldn't remember Dr. Umar Johnson. And the one thing that was going through my mind, you know what was going through my mind? Play it, Nate. Play it as I go out on my famous line. Drop squad 52. Drop his science to anyone who wants to catch it. Please play it, Nate. Please.
Anybody who tells you they're running for office to help somebody, smack their ass in the face.
He is a lot of fun, man. Drop is a lot of fun. That's my bro right there. He is nuts, man. He ain't gave no money to nobody, but he all concerned about what other people did with their money. I ain't give Black Lives Matter no money, so okay. They want to buy a house, people buying property. Sounds like a good investment to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, COINTELPRO is real, people. COINTELPRO is real. As he admitted, Black-led organizations, especially organizations that focus on Black liberation, are always going to become under the microscope. And it works this way. At first, what they're going to do is try to ignore you. That's how they do it first. They just ignore you. And then when they realize they can't ignore you, they try to destroy you. And I wonder if that's what's happening in Black Lives Matter. Now, maybe something was improper with the money or something like that. But I'm like, damn, if we're going to start looking at who did what with the money, you should be looking at your city, your county. That's where you start. If you're so concerned about where the money is going, then where's your taxpayer dollar going? People made those donations to Black Lives Matter. And when you make a donation to somebody, at least when I do, I ain't worried about what they do after that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I gave it to you. You got my trust. You know what I'm saying? Unless you betray that. So maybe if you donate, anybody donate to Black Lives Matter? If you did, then you have a righteous reason to argue. If you didn't, zip it. Because you ain't serious about it. You know what I'm saying? People that are serious about stuff put action behind it. People just want to talk about it. Well, they talk about it. And so that's how I feel about the Black Lives Matter thing. You know, people always want to assume the worst when it comes to Black folks. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just run out here and be like everybody else. Like, look what they did with the money. I knew they was fraudulent. I don't know. And that's the sincere truth. I do not know. Now, what I will say, if you're a Black-led organization, you got to make sure them dollars and cents, the zeros all add up. That data got to be there. We already know that because microscope, they're going to be looking at you differently. But let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
What's up, Nate?
What up, Daryl?
This the Cincinnati Peach. What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
Yeah, you know, I got a job, but I'm on vacation this week.
Okay.
Take that off the drop. But you know, the way I feel about this Black Lives Matter, you're exactly right. Like if you donate it, I can see you being upset, but that's the risk you take. But I don't think it's a matter of misappropriation of funds and stuff like that. What I think it is, because you got the Black Lives Matter, what is it, Global Network? It's like 3 organizations under that umbrella. Then you have like the Black Lives Matter PAC, and then you had the Black Lives Matter. I can't think of the other one. It might be some incorporated part piece to it, but the PAC is a political. They supported candidates. That's where some of the money went. I'm not saying all of it, some of it. The other part, I think, the Global Network. I think that's where those are the individual Black Lives Matter organizations. I'll say across the world, because I don't think it's just contained in the United States. But I'll just say that's part of the Global Network, and then that other piece. So I think it's more of a lack of how they were organized and structured that's bringing some of this heat on them. Like I said, I don't think it's misappropriation of funds, but we'll see. I mean, you mentioned Roland, he went into that, and all we can do is see it. But here's the thing: most of the money a bulk of their money, a lot of their money was from private contributions by corporate donors. So I'm like, why is Drop so upset? I mean, corporate donors, they gave them a lot of money, especially after, George Floyd and all that. But what's interesting with Drop is he wants to point out $6 million houses by Black Lives Matter. But I'm sitting here looking at this headline. He ain't saying nothing about Jared Kushner's $2 million from Saudi Arabia.
$2 billion.
Why is he so silent about? Huh?
$2 billion.
Right.
Yep.
$2
and
billion.
Then was it Mnuchin, who was the Treasury Secretary? He got $1.5 billion from the Saudis to start an investment group.
Right. Why is he so quiet about that?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
See, drop. I know. He's your little brother, but Drop, when you come out here and since you want to be lurking all the time, especially on Twitter Spaces, you don't have nothing to say. You try to get out there, but he gets shut down immediately when he comes into a space where people know what they're talking about. So, y'all, he's just gaslighting. That's his shtick. Let him have his fun. And then the chop shop will come back and, Nate, you're correcting. Other people will correct him, and we'll set him straight and on his little way back to the West Coast. But I just wanted to point that out, that I don't think it's a matter of, at this point, I don't think it's a matter of misappropriation than it is a matter of lack of organizational structure of Black Lives Matter. And the perception is that they're doing something wrong, because they had to know when they were getting money, I mean big time money, especially from these corporations, that there was a big target on their chest, and that lack of organizational structure is why they're vulnerable right now. So I'm just gonna keep an open mind, but I really don't think it's about misappropriation. I really don't think it's about that. So take care, man. I'll be back in the chop shop listening.
All right, Daryl. Thank you for the call, brother. Appreciate you. That's Daryl from Atlanta checking in. Oh, that's my radio little brother. I love the way Drop said it. That's exactly right. And it's all love. I say it affectionately. Yeah, all love. But he said it's less about like it's some kind of nefarious thing, like they got the money and they knew it was a con game. I ain't gonna assume that. It could be the kind of thing, like if you got an influx to your nonprofit of $50 million, would you know what to do with that? I wouldn't. Now, if that was me, the first thing I would do is go hire some smart money people. That's the first thing I would do. Because I'll be honest with you, if I had a nonprofit and you hit an influx of $50 million and I see all them zeros, I don't know what the hell to do. It could just be that. But we want to assume the negative. You want to assume the negative. You're absolutely right about that. And I'm saying, like, if you're really caring about where your money going, then look at it locally. Where's your money going locally? You paying taxes every day, every year. How's your tax dollars being spent? Are your tax dollars being spent in a way that you care about it? And if not, then what are you doing about it? You going down to your, well, in Cincinnati, it's Cincinnati City Council. Or you going to whatever your local, governmental policy body making organization is? What you doing about that? That's what I get from that. Like Daryl said, those are private donations. If somebody makes a private donation, that's their money. That's what they wanted them to do. But, to me, it just seems like it's just another way to discredit Black Lives Matter. Not saying they're not open to critiques, but I'm just saying, just in general, to discredit any kind of movement that's for the liberation of Black people or that's for focusing on the police brutality that Black folks still got to deal with. Under attack, under assault, under surveillance, COINTELPRO, multiple levels. And now you got the internet to play a role in that as well. That's just how I look at it. I saw Roland, and I get it. I think he has a valuable insight and basically was saying, there's people at the table that don't need to be at the table because they're not bringing money. He might be right about that. Let me see. Didi writes, is the mansion open to the members? Is it in the organization's name? If so, nothing to see here. That's what the explanation was. Here's a photograph of it. I mean, I don't know how big it is, but it looks okay. Nice little house. And if that's a creator home, then great. Then let them do what they're doing. I don't have no problem with it at this point. Roos writes, you got a valid mugging point. I didn't contribute either, actually. Right. I haven't contributed, so I'm not all in my feelings about it. And what did Daryl say? He said that's the risk you take. That's the risk you take when you sign that check and send it out. You're hoping they're going to do the right thing with it, no matter where you send the money. But you don't really know. Charles is in the house. He writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Sister Sandra's in the house. Good to see you, Sandra, or Sister Sandra. Jared writes, I always support the message Black Lives Matter, but I never trust the organization BLM and still don't. John writes, Daywalker. That's right. What up, John? Classic. They're going to be redoing it with Mahershala Ali. And he's going to be playing Blade. It's not going to be the same because I just felt like we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I get a brother his space to do what he do, but man, Wesley killed it. He killed it. What made the first Blade movie so dope is that the hero was a Black man and the damsel in distress was a Black woman, which I've told you before is very rare in our culture. It's very rare to see like a big movie like production where the hero's a Black man. And then he goes through the whole movie. He'll go to hell and back. He's fighting giants. He's fighting gods of war. He's fighting the hordes of zombies. He's fighting against impossible odds to save that sister. It's very rare, but you get that in that movie. And it's dope. And it's Marvel. You should check it out. It's on Netflix right now. You should check it out. Now, the second one I liked. The third one, not so much. The first one's a classic, though. La Magra, the Blood God. Oh, you got to watch it. You got to watch it if you like those kind of movies. If you don't like those kind of movies and you watch it, you're going to be like, Nate full of ish. But you don't like those kind of movies. You know what I'm saying? So I always preface by saying, if you like that kind of stuff. Because I understand some people like into documentaries and that's their wheelhouse. And if you go see some sci-fi-ish, you're going to be like, you hit with the Russell Westbrook. You Negroes is tripping, right? But if you like it, what I'm here to tell you is someone who loves sci-fi, I love horror. Those are my genres. You will enjoy it. Even though the movie came out in like the 99, I think it was. Hold on, let me look it up. Now I need to know. Then we're going straight to the phones. When did the first movie come out? 98. 98. First Blade movie came in 1998. Blade 2, 2002, Blade Trinity, 2004. And I'm all about the black superhero shit. Like, I'm thinking about starting to collect comics again just so I can enjoy with my son, but I'm gonna steer him toward like the black superheroes. Don't tell him. We're gonna get all the Black Panthers, the Blades, and then there's some other non-Marvel titles where they have black protagonists, and I want him to get into that. And I've already sort of, you got to plant them seeds with them little ones, man. I already kind of planted the seeds already. So let me go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nate.
Hey, Sandra.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. I don't get to call in all the time, but I try to listen every morning. I love your show. I love the people that call, the toppers. I mean, we are in a state of crisis, I think, in our community. And I think a lot of times we don't talk about stuff because we don't want to be seen by others as a troublemaker, mad black woman, and all that other stuff that labels us. But in the meantime, our kids, we're losing them. So exposing them to the world is our best interest. There's a Tony Evans, one of the pastors we read in the Bible study. He talked about the history of the black church and how it's a biblical connection for what we have today. Because back in the day, our churches was forced to do things, right? Start social service agencies. That's how our historical black colleges got started, banks, businesses, you name it. They did it. Where are we at now? We have nothing, really. We do have a lot of wealth. It's just not trickle down to our community. We talk about nonprofit organizations. Man, yeah, they do, and we do. We could have and make a lot of money based on that status, nonprofit. I would love to have millions of dollars in our coffin just to be able to educate our community about gerontology and what it's like to grow old and help our kids to study science and biology, because we're going to need them to help us as we age. We're going to have to invest in our kids. And that frightens me to the utmost, because so many of them have their own mind. They don't want to be told anything. Then you look up, they didn't caught a case, or they did, right? It's like one or the other. But there's a lot of successful kids out here, and we need to plant the seeds in them with their family members. We need to show them love. You're talking about that extended family. It should be endless. We should all be loving on our kids. So that's that. But I called too because the Home Association at Harvey Point, we did have that meeting. It was a successful meeting. What came out of that meeting, we need a lawyer, right? Because Gary is not going to stop. I don't know if he was able to reach out to you or you reached out to him, but we got to be able to come to the table and agree with what we want as homeowners, right? We have a couple folks that sued the association. That's going to cost money. Gary himself has sued the association. He's now using the lawyer as his personal lawyer. Just sent a restraining order to one of the homeowners' job last week. How embarrassing is that? Why would you do that? And you know where she lives, right? And people like that, they won't stop until you stop them. He has to be stopped. So we have another meeting scheduled for the 23rd, next Saturday. And hopefully homeowners come out. There's 30 of us, only 15 showed up. We need everyone to show up, right? Because some of these folks voted Gary in, and they need to be held accountable as well, right? Because he's not doing them right either. But all we've asked for is accountability, right? We own these homes. We bought these homes, and we could have lost our homes when the bottom fell out, and some of us did. However, you are not going to be a dictator to how I run my house. You're not. And we got to do some things. And we hoping, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I try to work out a little bit every morning. We got to do something. And the community need to understand that this is not just us. There's a lot of associations that are having problems. And we need to make sure that we hold folks accountable. And when you talk about my money and my home, my future, and the state of my family well-being, I'm going to fight you tooth and nail for what's mine. And he needs to step down. We need a new election. Just like you call the lawyer, they say, we can't talk to you. I'm like, but I pay you. Do you have the right? I have a right. It's like, we have to only talk to Gary. Really? We pay you. Town property, we pay you. They won't talk to nobody but him. What kind of crap is that? So that's where we at. Hopefully people pay attention and get involved in what's happening all around us. The city, the state, follow the money, get involved, make decisions, get on boards so we can get some of this funding, so we can get some of this money to help our community. So, hey,
So,
thank you.
so Sister Sandra, so what happened? So were there not enough? So was there a vote taken at the last homeowners association meeting?
Well, considering we tried to do a vote, right? We raised our hand for a new election, but it was an unofficial meeting, right? So we have to change the bylaws in order to move forward. So I'm hoping folks come with an open mind and willing to change the bylaws. You have to change the bylaws because your bylaws is your government that runs your organization. And in the bylaws, he's picking and choosing what part to use out of that. And it's okay. But even if you are the president, you have homeowners that you're responsible for, and you can't keep filing restraining orders. He got restraining orders on like 3 of them. I'll
Wow.
probably be next because I'm going to go pick it out in front of his house or something. Who do you think you are? So we have to change the bylaw.
Sister Sandra, for people who are hearing you for the first time, catch them up to speed. Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about a homeowners association in Avondale. Where exactly in Avondale? And then what is the gripe? What is the issue that you have with Mr. Chambers?
Okay. Well, 2 things. The Home Association was built, the first part in 1999 by Jim King. At that time, he had the Avondale Development Corporation. The second half was built in 1999, 2000. I moved in 2001. There's about 15 on each side, and then there's a group up on Harvey Avenue across from the old Catherine Booth Hospital.
Mhm.
So the association is ran by the homeowners. You pay a fee, and you are hopefully you're going to get service back. Like if your roof go out, driveway, anything you have exterior, they're supposed to pay for that. Well, it hasn't been doing that. I've been on that board off and on for the 21 years I've been there, and we've had 10 meetings. What the bylaw said, you meet regularly. you know, I have to say that a lot of homeowners didn't come out, and now that the heat is on, right? Gary is playing hardball. People are mad. He increased the fee to $200, and we don't get $200 worth of service. Well, now you have town property running around saying what they're going to do. I need to see the contract he has with them. We have never even seen that contract. So what does that consist of? So there's just paperwork legally we are obligated to have because we pay into this organization. When you are a member of something, you have the right to see the books. And he is not allowing that to happen. And the homeowners, which is, we're not tenants. Some of us have even paid off these condos, where they call them land dominiums because you own the land as well. We want to see the paperwork. We want to see the financial statements. We want to, like they bidded out the lawn care yesterday. To who? We need to know who you bidding it to, and we all may have somebody we know that want to put a bid in. So you just can't pick and choose what agency you want to represent this association, and when we all pay into it. So when you have an association, the homeowners are the government body of the agency, and you have to be able to listen to them, do what they ask, and work together. So that's the tough part. You got to have unity because we can all invest in our properties, which we do. We all pay into something extra. I've had my deck cleaned, siding cleaned. I've paid $1,000, if not more, a year on services that I've already paid the association to do. So you just got to be fair, right?
Okay, I understand. I did reach out to Mr. Chambers. He has not responded.
Favors.
I'm sorry, Mr. Favors, right? Not Chambers.
Mm-hmm. And he's not going to. He works behind the scene, right? And it's really sad as a Black man. Okay. Well, I said that really. Okay. So as a Black man, you have an obligation to protect your community to some degree, right? And especially the women, the elders. And I'm probably fighting for them more so than myself because you got seniors down there that can't pay that extra $200. And why would you want to put them through some hardship? At least give them, I don't know, some warning. There wasn't even a warning. It went from $125 to $200 like in a month. The bylaw says 60-day notice, and then you vote on it. Most of us probably would have said maybe $25, not a steep $75 right off the bat. And then you're not doing the work around the place. The place look a hot dang old mess. right? I got to pay somebody now to pick up my weeds and stuff.
Where exactly is it?
It's on Glenwood Avenue, going towards Vine Street, in between Harvey and Vine Street. Those condos that's going down towards Vine Street. The WCIN used to be there many, many years ago. That was a cow factory there. Some of our folks know what I'm talking about. But they're nice. I love it. It's going to be in my family forever, right? When I say forever, forever, I got 35 nieces and nephews. They all at one point going to put footprints in that house, and they have. So why would I sell it? Avondale is hot right now. It's so hot. I could probably get $300,000 in another year for a condo that I owe $30,000 on. Who would sell, right now? I tell anybody, don't sell nothing in Avondale. Nothing. Don't sell nothing in Avondale. If you can help it, don't sell nothing nowhere in the city if you can help it. But it is only because developers are buying up stuff, right? But we as homeowners, we love our place. You walk inside our places, they look nice. I took up all the carpet, put down all hardwood floors. We did the kitchen. I mean, we put money in these places. This is our home. And it's only fair that the association that we pay into respect us. And that's what the problem is. It's totally disrespectful.
Okay, Sister Janice, thank you for keeping us up to date on what's going on. And I'm going to reach back out to Mr. Favors and see if he's willing to come on and talk about
so
it.
I can celebrate in our 30th year, and we want to do it grand, right?
Okay.
I'm picking about 40 seniors to Savannah, Georgia, pretty much on us next month. Next month is Older American Month, and I want folks to think about that. What is your transition to old age? How are you preparing your body, your mind, and your finance to grow old? Because it's going to take work. You just can't say, I'm going to get old. You want to get old gracefully. You want to get old with some resource. You want to get old with some folks helping you, because we all know somebody that need an extra hand right now because they didn't prepare to grow old. You have to prepare to grow old, just like you got to prepare to live. And that is living. So the theme is Age My Way for the month of May. So you'll hear a lot more about that. So I look forward to connecting with you on that as well, okay?
Okay, absolutely.
Peace.
Age My Way. That's Sister Sandra. I mean, she's a big supporter of the show. You have no idea. And I'm just very blessed to have people to give a damn about it. And again, I wanted to have an impact in our community, most definitely. So again, I would love to get Mr. Favors on. If somebody knows Mr. Gary Favors, reach out to him. He's aware of the show. We had a conversation back when he was running for school board that we had a conversation. I believe that way. I mean, it wasn't good nor bad, in my opinion. It was just a conversation with a candidate. And so he's aware of the show. And I'd love to get him on to talk about it from his perspective, because it seems like this is something that is a real concern for some folks in our community. She's right about Avondale, most certainly. And it's funny how that works. Like, Avondale is hot right now, but if you ain't got enough money to purchase anything, it don't matter how hot it is, right? Avondale can be super hot. If you can't afford to invest, it makes no difference. But I want to remind you that today's show is brought to you in part by our friends at Renew Community Church. They provide a Sunday morning masterclass that you can tap into virtually. You can tap in on the internet, on Facebook and YouTube. On YouTube, just go to their YouTube channel, Renew Community Church live stream. And on Facebook, facebook.com/Cincy Renew. This Sunday's topic, countdown. You are just 60 seconds away from your resurrection. It's your time to win. The conversation will be led by Charlie Winburn. You can tap in at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested, they also offer a free ebook and personal and/or business coaching. To get the ebook or to sign up for coaching, go to their website, 3Ws, as in W's, renewcommunitychurch.org. Check them out. Now, today's cover story, we've been talking about the terror in the subway. Police authorities are looking for this man right there. He's a person of interest. There's essentially a manhunt underway for Frank R. James. I don't know if the brother did it or not, but it reminded me of like some shit you'll see in a movie. Somebody said Blade. I could see that. I thought of the new Batman movie. When I saw the new Batman movie, listen, everybody's not well adjusted. Sometimes people see these movies and it makes them do some crazy stuff in the real world. but there's an element of like a vigilante type element where the primary villain encourages other people to go out and do terrorist acts. And I remember when I was watching the movies, I was like, man, I don't trust modern day human beings. Somebody's going to watch this itch and try to do something crazy. Now, I don't know if that's what is behind. I don't even know if Frank R. James is the perpetrator. It looks bad, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You were innocent until proven guilty, at least you're supposed to. Even the blacks, I'll say it again. Even the blacks are innocent until proven guilty. All right. But about 23 people were injured, and there's all these different reports. I just read a report this morning. There was a man who was on the subway, and when the shots started ringing out, he actually used his body as a human shield to shield a woman who was pregnant. So acts of heroism, even when in the midst of terror. And I'm glad that I don't think anybody was killed. I think a lot of people were injured, but I'm glad to see that, man. We living in crazy times. Crazy times. Speaking of living in crazy times, yet another example that we are living in the last days. And I want to talk about Will Smith because that's the story that just keeps on giving. There's so many layers to it. DJ Jazzy Jeff, who everybody knows, the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff, they was tight back in the day. You loved them. You loved them. Well, now DJ Jazzy Jeff has given his opinion about Will Smith's Oscar slap, and he says, quote, he should have slapped someone sooner. That's what your man's and them saying? He should have slapped somebody sooner. Come on. See, this is what happens all the time. Is somebody do something and they wrong, and the people around them, instead of holding them accountable, they basically pat them on the back, or they go along with the nonsense. And that's your man, and then you're supposed to hold him accountable and tell him, like, nah, man, you was wrong on that. Friend or no friend, family or no friend, right is right and right is wrong is wrong, but this is what happens. This is what happens across the board. People do this. Women do this with y'all friends. Y'all friend do some effed up shit to let's say somebody, and you don't say a word about it. Somebody do the same effed up thing to your friend, and you ready to go to war. You ready to go to war. If I was close to Will, I'd tell him the same way. Man, you was dead wrong for that. That was some weak ass shit you did. Tell me you should have slapped somebody sooner. Who? You can't do that around me. If you right, you right. If you wrong, you wrong. I'm gonna tell you that. Period. Friend or no friend. Especially if you're my friend. If you're my friend, that means I care about you. And if I care about you, I'm definitely gonna keep it real with you, 100%, because I care. Now, if you're not a friend, I might just let this shit slide because I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. Come on, DJ Jazzy Jeff. I just saw him on The Breakfast Club. It was about a 20, 25-minute interview. It was great. Great conversation, man. How could you not like DJ Jazzy Jeff? But come on, yo. This is what they call toxic masculinity. You ain't got to slap nobody. Go sit. I'm not saying there's not a time for that. Okay, I already told you. I felt that way, but I didn't do it. I felt that way in a bunch of situations where I could have slapped the fire to somebody, but I didn't do it because they didn't deserve all that. You know what I'm saying? You might think something, you might feel something, but you don't have to act on it. It's two completely different things. You know what I'm saying? Tracy writes, you don't have an opinion just because you're somebody's friend. Sometimes friends remain silent and pray. And that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? If you got a friend, somebody close to you, and they do some F shit, you tell them they effed up. Quit acting. That's part of the problem. Quit rubber stamping that dumb shit. DJ Jazzy Jeff is doing what a lot of people do in relationships. He going along with the BS. And I think it's wrong. You just making the situation work. Keep it 100. Tell them they wrong. Yo, check it. If I'm friends with somebody and I see them do something wrong and I tell them they wrong and they know they wrong and they don't want to be my friends no more, then we ain't friends, period. If I can't tell you the truth, then we ain't friends. What kind of friend is that where I can't keep it real with you? That ain't no damn friendship. That's an abusive relationship where I got to go along and act like I don't see something. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. And I don't want those kind of friends. Tell me. Just tell me. Now, you ain't got to be disrespectful. There's a way you say things to people. But right is right and wrong is wrong. Period. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Period. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. So I don't really subscribe to that. I don't like that. I don't, and I mean, again, I wasn't brought up like that. I was brought up around black people that said what they had to say. I seen my grandparents argue. I seen my uncle argue. I seen my mother argue. And you just get over it. It don't have to be the end of the world because we get into an argument or I check you or you check me. It is what it is. We move on. That's if you have a good relationship. If you don't have a good relationship, then saying something to somebody could tear it all down. And that's that fake shit. And I don't like fake shit. Keep it 100 with me at all times. Period. Because that's what I'm going to do with you. So if I was close to Will, I'd tell him, that was some weak ass shit you did. You was dead wrong. You in your feelings because all these people saying shit about some other shit. And you took it out on this black man because you knew you could get it off. You wouldn't do that with me. You wouldn't do that with somebody else that you thought would be more of a physical, threat to you. That's what he should have said to Will. Real friends keep it real with their friends. Now, that don't mean you got an opinion about every little thing somebody do. That's different. But this, I read this from DJ Jazzy Jeff. I'm like, he should have slapped somebody sooner. What the hell? Come on, yo. We got to be better than that. That's what a weak man thinks that a strong man is supposed to act like. If you comfortable in yourself and you know who you are, you ain't got to do all that shit. It's unnecessary. You reserve that for when it's really time for all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you open the door for violence, you don't know what's going to come back to you. You have no idea. You have no idea. I think you was wrong on that. Dead wrong. Let me go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, brother.
Hey, good morning. Over the day was great yesterday.
Was
even
it?
Though they lost.
Oh, did they? I wasn't even hip to the score.
Man, 10-4, bro.
10-4.
They was hold to the ninth. Then they hit doubles and grand slams and shit. I was out of there.
Grand slams? Oh, my God.
Hit a grand slam on the dude. But I want to talk about what you said about DJ Jazzy Jeff. Now, look, me and you agree that Will Smith was wrong in what he did. But Jazzy Jeff ain't necessarily wrong in what he said, though. Like, he said somebody. He didn't say you should have slapped Chris. He said you should have slapped somebody else sooner. Like, all right, so Will Smith going to be on this road doing ish like that, then DJ Jazzy Jeff is right. Like, if you was going to take it out on somebody, he had a whole list of people he could have took that shit out on. Ain't no doubt about that. That's true. Now, whether or not, he decided he wanted to slap August or Jada, that's another story. But Jeff ain't wrong for saying that.
He's not wrong for saying that.
I mean, if that's the course of action that Will was going to take, if he know his boy like that, he know he's capable of doing some shit like that. It's like, yeah, you did right, but you did it at the wrong time. You did it to the wrong person. That's all he's saying.
The only person he should have slapped was himself. That's not being a good friend. He should have told his partner, like, look, bro, I know you're going through some ish. You need to go work on yourself. Slap your ass down in that chair and talk with a psychiatrist. That's what you need to do. Slap. Who he gonna slap? Why would he slap Jada? Why would he slap August?
Well, I'm saying we after the fact now. That was Jeff's talking to him after the fact, which okay, it's not really helpful now. But what I'm saying is that what would it help? I'm not saying it would have helped anything. What I'm saying is that Jeff was right. If this is the course of action the Will's going to take, let's just say Will Smith's going to choose violence. All right, Jeff ain't wrong by telling him like, hey, bro, if you're going to choose violence, you should have chose violence with some other one. versus choosing violence with Chris Rock. That's all he's saying.
But who was he gonna choose violence with? Like a reporter or somebody on the internet? Like, yo, check it, bro. Listen, we men, we humans. There's a time for violence. I'm not saying there
For
isn't,
sure.
but that
Right.
wasn't it.
We agree on that. Picking Chris Rock was not the time to choose violence. But I'm just talking about what Jeff is saying. We focus on what he's saying, not necessarily what we would have did. We're going to say that Will Smith chose violence against Chris Rock. He shouldn't have did that. We agree on that. But we talking about what Jeff's saying about being a friend and all that. Like a friend coming, hey, bro, like this is the wrong place, wrong time. I mean, all Jeff said was, hey, if you was going to do this, you had a list of folks you could have did this to prior to if you were going to be violent. If this is the route you're going to take, I got a whole list of other folks, and you got a whole list of other folks you could have took that ish out on versus Chris Rock. That's all he's saying. I don't think he's wrong for saying that. If this your man, you know?
We're going to have to agree to disagree on this one, bro. I think it's bad advice. It's some of that toxic masculinity. It sounds good, but in reality, in all practicality, it's the wrong advice. But you think it was the right thing to say. So we can just disagree on it.
Yeah, we can do that. My whole focus is on what Jeff said. You saying that Jeff is wrong. We agree to disagree on that one. Like, he's right in that sense. We both agree Will Smith did wrong. But, like, if you're going to go this route, then, yeah, bro, like, there's other folks you could have did that ish too. People clowning your wife, people clowning you on the internet, all this red table stuff that people was clowning you about. Like, if you were going to choose violence, you should have took care of one of them cats.
But that would have been that would have been wrong too, though. That's what I'm saying, Black Russia. Like, him and Jada decided to disclose that to the world after August talked about it. They didn't have to. They could have just shut it down and said, you know what, no comment. They chose to talk about it. They know how this works. So how you going to choose to talk about something and put it in the public and then want to put your hands on somebody because the public reacts to what you put out there? Come on, you can't do that. It's wrong.
I'm not saying it's cool. We agree to some degree. I'm not saying it was cool. What I'm saying is, again, if Will Smith was helping or doing violence to somebody because of all the public ish going on, Chris Rock wasn't the target. That's all Jeff was saying.
And what I'm saying is that as a friend, what Jeff should have told his partner is, look, choosing violence ain't the option, period. No matter who it is. That's not how you gonna deal with these issues that you got, Will. That's not gonna make you feel better no matter who you should have been, a blogger or should have been whoever. That's the way you're looking at it is wrong from the jump. That's what I'm saying.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
Go slap your ass down in that psychiatrist chair and talk it out with somebody behind closed doors. If you all in your feelings about it, that's what you should do.
Yeah, I mean, but sometimes you got friends that's helping on doing what they want to do, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going with the fact that Jeff probably knows him for a long time. Yeah. And he know what he's prone to. He probably know everything that's going on. Besides just watching, he probably talking to him and hanging out with him, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we after the fact now. So he's commenting on the situation after the fact. You know, to me, it's just like, this is what a friend does. Like, hey, bro, what you did was wrong. If you was going to do this, you should have did this to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? We agree to disagree on this one. I just don't think Jeff was not being a friend. I don't think he was giving bad advice. He looked at it after the fact like, hey, like everybody else, like, hey, bro, you was wrong, but I wouldn't have did it here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Just, you know, friends being friends, they always put you in the most positive light. And it's always going to try to be your friend. But to me, it's just like, yo, Jeff ain't wrong. He ain't wrong for that. He ain't wrong for saying that.
Okay.
You know.
I think he's dead wrong for saying that. But okay. All right. I appreciate the divergent perspective, man. Anything else?
All right. Nah, that's
what do you think about the president, Castellini, the president of the Reds, saying basically, where you gonna go? You're a Reds fan. Where else you gonna go? Then coming back and apologizing.
Hey, I support Bill Castellini.
Really?
I like Bill Castellini. I do. I really do. I think he does what he has to do to try to win and keep payroll and be profitable. Because, I mean, nobody's in business for the purpose of losing money. Okay, I ain't necessarily like him getting rid of all the players that he got rid of because he had got rid of All-Star. But I understand the perspective because they're in the business of making money. And he's right in the sense that, hey, yo, if we want to make money, we could have sold the team a bounce Like, so what y'all gonna do? Like, y'all gonna not root for the team? You know, I was down there opening day. It was sold out. You know what I'm saying? He has a point.
He has a point.
If people, absolutely. If you feel like you could do better, come buy the team. It is like they were opposed to selling it. To me, it's just like, hey, who's gonna do better? Where y'all gonna go?
I thought his comments were elitist. It was kind of like, hey, I'm in charge. Just deal with it or don't deal with it. And I thought that it was tone deaf as well. Like,
well,
if you're a fan base, you got every right to be upset and to show your frustration and to ask that question. Why should fans come back to the ballpark and support you and you're not putting together a winning product? That is a very valid question. That's a very fair question.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I've been watching them since they kicked off last week. They split games with the defending world champions, with the Braves. They won 2 and lost 2. Like, they're competitive. Like, people who are just saying that, just looking at the win-loss total, I get some of that. But if they really look at the team, they go down there and check them out, then they understand they're trying to be competitive. You ain't going to always win. I mean, they went to the playoffs like 2 years ago during COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just wanted now to see the Bengals would put ultimate pressure on the Reds to win at the highest level, which they should. But Bill Castellini, he talking like a boss. Like, hey, like we in charge. Like, if y'all ain't coming in to buy the team or whatever like that, then kick back and either root for them or don't. Like, whether it's elitists or not, I mean, they own a franchise. I mean, these are elites, so they ain't supposed to talk like they're elite. I mean, that. I don't necessarily disagree with them. Somebody can come in and buy the teams they want.
Oh my gosh! So this man says. So he goes to a radio show and they ask him, so what would you say to fans who are frustrated about the fact that you're not competitive enough? His response is, where you going to go? And I'm like, well, at the very least, I don't have to go to the game.
Right.
I can stay home. I don't have to watch the game. I don't have to buy Reds gear. I don't have to go to opening day. What do you mean, where we going to go? But see, this is what happens when you give people participation awards, because every single year is a big thing with opening day, even though the team ain't competitive every single year. That's part of the problem. If we snatch that opening day parade and we link it to them going to the playoffs, there'll be a lot more appreciated. To me, it sounds like he didn't appreciate the Reds fan base. He don't appreciate the support he gets, even though the team ain't competitive every single year. And so, what do you do when somebody don't appreciate you? You take yourself away from them. Maybe Reds fans should stop going to the games, stop buying the shit, buying T-shirts, and then he'll appreciate us more. Maybe then.
Maybe, but they're not the work. But see what I'm saying? Like, people who are saying this stuff, I don't think they're baseball connoisseurs. Like, they just look at the win-loss total and just like, oh, they just want something to gripe about. Like, if you're really watching the game of baseball,
it was
you will see that the Reds
are competitive. Mo Egger. He's all about the Reds.
I know. I follow him.
Yeah, he asked that question. So it ain't just some people that don't really watch baseball. This is a man who gets paid to watch it. And I've listened to the broadcast. He's all about the Reds. He knows more about the Reds than probably most people here.
Yeah, but he a media dude too, so he's going to ask provocative questions. I don't think he really believes that they're not competitive. And that's not how he sounded to me. It didn't sound like he believed that these guys were not competitive. That's not the vibe I got. I got the vibe that he was speaking on behalf of the fans. Like, hey, fans are saying this. What do you? Because he said, how do you respond to the fans? And he responded how he responded. Like, either you rock with the Reds or you don't. You know, there's 31 other baseball teams out here you can rock with. If you don't want to rock with the Reds, like, feels like, fuck it. Like, you ain't got to rock with us. But like I said, yesterday it was sold out. As long as they keep winning, they're going to sell out. That'd be cool.
All right, brother. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
All right, take it easy. Hey, one more thing.
Yeah.
Who won the play-in games? Did Brooklyn win yesterday?
Brooklyn won yesterday. I don't know the night game, the late night game. I didn't watch it. I was done by then.
Okay. Hey, they gonna win the East.
New York? I mean, I'm sorry, the Nets?
Brooklyn. I've watched. They the dark horse.
I don't see
it.
I don't think they got enough on that bench. I don't see it. I see 3 teams coming out. Celtics playing good right now. In the Heat and Milwaukee. You know, so right now I'm saying Milwaukee because to me they the champs until somebody dethrones them. And Giannis is unstoppable. He's the best player in the league. So I'm gonna say Bucks #1 coming out, second Celtics, and after that I don't know.
Well, I think Brooklyn got to play Boston now after the play-in.
They do.
Don't they?
They do.
Yeah, so that's a tasty series right there.
I'm gonna take Boston. In the series. Even though Kyrie is looking like a point guard out there.
Hey, I'm just saying, like,
first 12 field goals, he hit all of them. Yeah, he on another level out there. Durant on another level, but I just don't think they got enough. And I don't like their coaching. I don't think Steve Nash is that much of a coach.
You ain't never liked Steve Nash, but you ain't like them hiring him.
I didn't think he was that much of a coach. I didn't think very highly of him. I didn't think he had a pedigree. He came out of nowhere, and you got all these other qualified coaches that have been coaching for years, and they picked Steve Nash because he was cool with the general manager, and that's how business works.
He was cool with KD too, though. Like in Kyrie, they kind of picked that coach. Like it wasn't just like they just did a top down. KD and them wanted him.
Well, I'm sure they signed off on him, yeah, for sure. But I still don't think highly of him as a coach. He's
that's
untested.
Okay.
He's untested. Let's put it that way.
They said the same thing about Steve Kerr, though.
They did until he proved himself.
Yeah, so here we go. They beat Boston, and if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, hey, they should. To me, I think they can win the final. But they got two of the best players, two of the top 5 players in the NBA. Like you said, they ain't got too much of a bench, but they got Brook Lopez, don't they? He played for Milwaukee. They got a third wheel, don't they? James Harden's done, right?
James Harden is with the 76ers now, and he's not playing up.
That's why he got traded. I forgot.
Yeah, he's not at the par right now, so I don't think the 76ers can go too far without James Harden. I'm looking at Milwaukee.
What about your boy?
I think
Milwaukee's going to repeat. Is Bean gonna play? Simmons. That's what I meant to say.
When he gets out there, now when he gets out there, now they got a squad. But I don't know if he's gonna play this year or not. I have no idea. But Ben Simmons is an amazing
his back getting better. We'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting.
It is, brother. Thank you for the call.
All right, comrade.
Yeah, most def. Yeah, Ben Simmons, all them guys in the NBA, man. I was telling my son, he was like, "Who is that?" We was watching like the top 200 dunks of the last season, and people were dunking, and he didn't recognize their names because they're not big time stars. I had to tell him, all these dudes is dope. Every last one of them. The last dude on the bench will get out here on these courts and serve the world. They all top flight athletes. It's a mental thing that separates the very, very, like the 1% from the other 5%. It's a mental thing. And Ben Simmons was in his head a little bit, but physically, 6'10" with what he can do. Now, when he get out there, they got some things they need to add to that bench with the New Jersey Nets. After that, but right now, Giannis, Milwaukee repeating. I don't see nobody beating them. How you going to beat that? Can't do it. You can't stop him, and he's a beast on both sides of the floor, right? He is an absolute he's just a cut above on both sides of the floor, and he's young, and he's already got a ring, and he might be defensive player of the year. When you got the best player like that in today's game, it's just a big advantage. It is what it is. All right, I got to make a move, family. I thank you so much for checking out the show. Want to remind you today's show is brought to you by our friends at Renew Community Church. They host a Sunday morning live stream masterclass. This Sunday's topic, countdown. You are just 60 seconds away from your resurrection. Just 60 seconds. It's your time to win. And you know our motto, winners focus on winning. You can tap in on Facebook, facebook.com/Cincy Renew. Or you can tap in on YouTube, Renew Community Church live stream, and check them out. Good morning to Ray and to Fox. She writes, let's start with the United Way. Right. Absolutely. Good morning to you. Everybody want to talk about Black Lives Matter, but think about some of these local nonprofits in the city of Cincinnati or wherever you might live at. You might be in Arizona, or you might be in Cleveland, or you might be in New York. You know what I'm saying? What about what's happening where you live? I think that's what matters the most, in my humble opinion. Again, have an excellent rest of your day, family. Check out the NAACP Truth to Power podcast. They are all over these state issues, things that matter to us in the state of Ohio. They'll be live streaming today at 1 p.m. Make sure you check them out. And take care of yourself. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.